That's good. We're going to be back testing and we're going to be locked in. Just to this trade, show you why. We partialed 75% at 3R, and then we got break evened, and then price opened at our TP level. So I'll give you a rundown. On the daily chart, we look like we're drawing lower. So we had this low had already been taken. We had these two lows here. So obviously a move against any long manipulation was good to go, as we look like we was drawing towards these lows. So at 9:30 we came up to data high, then got a 5-minute inverse, and then from that inverse we then got so we came down, inversed it, came up, displaced out. This is our CSD with a gap, and we entered on the CSD. You could have entered on the gap also. Stop here covering the inverse and the gap and the CSD. So we was targeting this low, got it, didn't partial here, we just trailed stop, then we ran to 3R, and then so I'm going to try and pass this account. I do notice a pattern that when I skip the candles too quickly, I crash out very quickly also. So we won't do that. We're also going to start analysing from Monday. We do actually have FxReplay tab up already. So yeah, we'll try and pass this account. Should be able to. So next day, Monday, have 10 AM news, so just be careful. Daily time frame, we still look like we're drawing lower. We have swept this low, so we'll see if we've got any confirmations to maybe come a little bit higher, but ultimately we're very bearish. Then the next daily low level would be there. So yeah, we do have this inverse gap from London. With current SMT along the lows. I don't think we'll have SMT with these lows because NAS for the trade that I just took was very clear OVS. So yeah, so far we've got a draw on liquidity, this low, and we've got like an hourly inverse gap to confirm. So we could see a move back up and then sell off, or just a sell off from like a gap. So we'll zoom in here. Struggling to get M5 closure. This would be the 5-minute inverse gap. Obviously the M15 CSD is up here, so I don't think that we'll go longs from here. I think we'll just use this as a retracement, unless 930 wants to come and close above here. Technically this is your inverse, but M15, yeah. So we'll zoom in to price. Obviously the main level we've got right now, higher time frame wise, is this hourly gap, hourly inverse gap, and then lower time frame we're monitoring this 5-minute inverse gap. Obviously this is 9 o'clock, so we'll just skip it out till the open, so it does look like we will inverse that. So be interesting to see how we react. Also be interesting to see how we react when we get up to this area. So we'll just keep skipping. We've got 25 minutes to market open. And ideally, taking a trade around the macro, like we got in at 9:53. So as long as we're entering around the macro, I don't want to get in too early and get Judah swinged. So yeah, we'll just skip it out. Obviously this area is quite small, but be interesting. We did close above, so we could see this shoot price. Obviously we do have SMT between London low and current low. So we'll see if we want to continue. We are now inside the inverse gap, so this could just be a market maker sell model to down here, but we shall definitely watch and not force a trade. So obviously we've come up to that 5-minute area now. We did get a close above, so we'll see if this 5-minute candle wants to wick down and push up. Okay, displacing lower, tapping back into 50%, get another close above, and see how's it going to leave us. Okay, so coming into 9:30, what can we see? Do we have any SMTs? It doesn't look like it on the M15. Maybe on a lower time frame. No SMTs. So yeah, want to be watching this inverse gap. I think this inverse gap holds higher power than the fair value gap above it, but we'll mark it as well. Obviously close back below this mitigation block, so we are rejecting off the hourly inverse, so we may want to see a SMT at 9:30, but the main key level, like I said, hourly inverse gap is a key level, and on the lower time frame, all we really have to work with going into 9:30 is, we didn't inverse that gap, is this order block and these early highs. So we'll read price 10 AM news again. So yeah, tapping back into that inverse now, whether we want to come down here, take the highs and then sell, or yeah, so we get quite a bad closure from this one. So like I did think that this would be the stronger PD array. We're now monitoring this CSD and this mitigation block. See if this wants to support price to sweep out these highs. So we have made a gap, and that's a really strong candle out. We do sweep out these highs, so it is very early. Obviously we have got SMT on it, however it is way too early to trade. There's no real M5 gaps to inverse, meaning we'll probably want to see a deeper move up into this hourly inverse, but we shall definitely see. Okay, so we'll see if this gap now supports price. We barely displaced above it, so it'd be interesting to see if we do hold this gap, and we do. So that makes our life as a trader a little bit easier, as the deeper we come in, the gaps will have to form, meaning we can then inverse and give ourselves confirmation that we are going lower. obviously highs within this inverse gap would be this one, and then I think this one. So we'll monitor how we react to these highs. So far, bullish order flow is intact, coming into this inverse gap, displacing above, using this mitigation block as a support and price. We then hold this gap and then we sweep out these highs. There is no M5 confirmation as of yet that we would even have. So my idea...
You're making a video?
Fucking hell, you scared the shit out of me, bruv.
You making a video?
Yeah, mate. Fucking hell, you just scared the shit out of me.
I'm sorry.
Bro, you're so loud. Fucking hell, that actually jump scared the fuck out of me. I forgot you was in it, bro.
I'm sorry.
I was in flow state.
Nah, I was not really in it, but I was like listening for about like a minute, and then I thought I'd just say something really loud.
Yeah,
thought it scared you, and I got you. I got you, bro.
Anyways.
Yeah, what's good, guys?
Yeah. Okay. Let's try and get focus back. But yeah, bullish order flow is still being held. So we'll see how we dig into these highs, and these highs up here also. My thoughts would be that we have this move and then we get another 5-minute bullish candle. Then we have this inverse gap that we can use before selling off if we was to have a draw on liquidity as bearish. But yeah, so far just reading price, there is no 5-minute gaps that we can use to confirm order flow is shifting. So for now we just sit on our hands and read price. So obviously we've come to this high now, so the candle that we put in, we'd ideally see a gap being respected if we were still bullish. We'll also mark this wick also because it's quite prominent. But yeah, this next candle will form a gap and we'll see how we even react to this, if we even come into this. This is obviously first presented, being used, but we shall see. So it looks like we do tap into it, just about. So quite a strong bullish candle out. So it does look like we will be reaching for these highs, and then post 940 we should have a gap. Well, 945. So at the macro, we should have an M5 inverse for us to use. So far, where there's been no displacement lower, we're quite strong in this hourly inverse. There's not really any other PD arrays inside of this area other than this very extreme M15 inverse that started this whole leg lower. So we can definitely mark that up with the body. Maybe we want to see 5-minute candles inside, then shift, and then use this as our market maker sell model, but we will be very patient as there's no lower time frame confirmations that we have. So just monitoring how we use, and there we go. We really displays through these highs and into the very prominent move that started this lower. ES is still very bearish with SMTs being formed. For me, I just don't think the time is right yet, as this next 5-minute candle closure will print a gap. It will be, well, depending on the wick that we form, be a very huge displacement gap, meaning either A, we will not inverse it and we'll use it as a fractal buy model to continue higher, or B, we'll get a very low wick and then inverse it, and that'll be even stronger, as we have swept out all of these liquidity targets. But we'll see how we push into this inverse gap now, and because of the displacement, my eyes would go to further highs, so we can then mark this high out and even this high out. You can use this as a rejection block. Personally, I don't use that, but I know people would be. Maybe even get soup here and then M5 confirmation, but we're really just using hourly and M5 right now to see how we react to price. But yeah, so far very bullish. Other than this gap and maybe this gap, and obviously this very early entry that you could have got. Correct me as well. This is the first presented. This is not. Doesn't seem like there would be an entry for buys other than this gap with this inverse. So yeah, there's no FOMO at all. There wouldn't have been an entry even if we did try and enter early, but we'll see how we react. And this candle displaces lower as we tap into the M15 inverse gap as expected. How do we print this? So like I said, depending on how this 5-minute close is, will tell us a lot of things. But obviously we've got this lower wick here. So if we continue to move to this low, there will not be an inverse gap for us to take, and it will kind of ruin a setup. We would then need another 5-minute candle, but this could be low of candle. We want to monitor this high. We don't really want to touch it because that would mean we would have no M5 gap to inverse to macro, and we do touch it, so that's not great for us. Obviously we have a fractal M5 CISD, which would be the M1 CISD, but whether you want to take that over an M5 inverse gap is completely up to you. The fact that we've closed this gap could definitely spring higher to these highs. Look at these, 1, 2, 3 equal highs, 4 relatively, but we may just want to reverse off this M1 CISD, but I would rather an M5 confirmation if we're inside of hourly PD arrays, but we shall definitely see. So this 5-minute candle is going to close as a wick, so technically this is an immediate rebalance. Some people can look at it like that, others can, but this 5-minute candle, reject him. Any price is lower, but we'll definitely monitor. Like I said, there's no M5 confirmation that we can use to reverse off, so maybe we just continue higher until we finally print an M5 gap, or this day just provides no entry, and that's absolutely fine. We have got to remember there is 10 AM news, so we could even see something like this. 10 AM prints a big candle, we then use it as a gap to then inverse if the draw on liquidity is lower to that daily high, but we'll just watch price. So far we're very bullish. Not much else to say. We can monitor this CISD, respecting it. Now, do we want to respect this gap? And we can also take this off at 10 AM if we re-inverse it. So it means we can clear our chart a little bit. But yeah, you see why I prefer M5 inverse gaps, because when we come to it, it's very strong. As this whole move has started, come into an M5 inverse, shoot higher. This one candle, 9:30, opens inside CISD. We've been bullish ever since. So does this candle then want to close? It won't really affect our trading. Ideally, this candle closes higher, meaning we could then use this high and then the third candle's low as a gap, but that is asking for shorts. We're not bothered if we don't get it, but it would be ideal. And we get exactly that, so we get a nice candle up now. So if this 5-minute candle does not come and touch this order block, we could then use it as an inverse. If it does, and we are showing the same signs on here, you could potentially catch a trade to these highs before 10. But the ideal outcome is that we find the reversal. Okay, so we do actually have a very small gap now. Now, before we take any trades, have we swept liquidity? Have we got SMT? Now, we didn't sweep this high. However, obviously we will have SMT. ES is very much bearish. So the easiest SMT I can see would be, what's the highest place that we've taken out? This SMT here. Obviously now this chart's getting very messy. We would want to see this M5. Okay, it's disconnected me. Brilliant. We would then want to see this M5 inverse gap be created, and we could potentially look for lower prices. So we'll see. Obviously it is tiny, and we do have news at 10 AM. So really depending on this next candle is, will we inverse it, will we not? If we don't inverse it, well, we haven't inversed it, we haven't even touched it, because 10 AM will open a new 5-minute, and then we shoot higher at 10 AM. So all very bullish signs. However, this does allow for us to still get shorts. We can now get rid of this hourly inverse gap. Now, probably wouldn't want to trade too much if we're biased. Our bias is lower, and we're displacing high. You wouldn't want to try and catch a reversal, but it's definitely doable. You wouldn't want to FOMO buys. But yeah, we've taken London high out now, so we can make this chart a little bit cleaner. Obviously we've got all the old drawings, but now we can keep this, keep a couple of them just so they're there, but they aren't needed. Okay, so we're sweeping out London high. There's no 5-minute gaps to confirm lower yet. However, this could be used. We could see this here form and then inverse to get shorts, but we're not forcing it. This will probably be a tape read, as there is nothing right now. But yeah, above London high. We'll see how we react to gaps. Is there many targets above? Got these hourly highs. Then Asia. So we have got places we can go for longs. Now depending on this 5-minute candle, we'll have an M5 gap created. And if we do not provide, which we do not again, so this is kind of showing that there's no signs of reversal at all. We're closing every 5-minute gap that will be made, kind of telling us that there is no trade for reversal traders. And fail to close below this M5 CISD anyways, and we close the potential gap. So it does make me think that this is still a buy model, and with that displacement you can see the same logic being applied. So we don't make a gap there, so that's a decent place to get in long. The fact that we're not making gaps, we can have the stop at the low, could target these highs. So any other highs? Yeah, I mean, I think we'd probably just target 3R. Now this is kind of not needed, but I suppose we may as well. We would not risk 1% on this. We would risk probably half. How much we make here? We don't really want to dip below a K. I like that. So we'll do. We'll just risk one. Why is it so weird? That'll do. Actually no, we'll just risk. We'll risk that. It's fine. Doesn't matter. So yeah, we are market in. There's no print. There's no M5 inverse gap. We're rejecting everything. So we'll see how this plays. There's still no gaps. We finally print a tiny gap. Is it even worth marking because it's so small? We'd want to close above here, and we do on this candle, and we rebalance the gap and the order block. Good candle on that displacement. Now we're inside this old order block, so we'd want to see bullish confirmation, and we stopped out. So yeah, not a great trade. I shouldn't have really taken that. So that's an example of potential FOMO. I mean, yeah, we'll see. Okay, yeah, that's just unlucky. That's bad stop placement. We do actually stop out there anyways, so yeah, that's not great. That's kind of unlucky. Oh, I missed it. We did have a 5-minute gap. Damn. So it came down to the 5-minute gap. There's no. Okay, so we was right, but we was wrong. Now coming up to these highs though, I'll delete these. Coming up to these highs, what M5 do we have to reverse off? Not much, only this here. Also, this trade was very unlucky, as just looks like this was the accumulation I got in, but it's all good. We are coming to these highs. Probably wouldn't be trading by now. Probably be done. We're not printing any gaps. We are accumulating. Okay, displacement lower, but there's no M5 gap other than down here, so probably will be no trade. See how this gap holds. Come up into it. Soup the high. Displace and fake displacement. Okay. Not printing any new gaps, so this looks like it is it for me. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know how long that one trade was, but yeah, I mean, like we said, we had SMT on the low. Now we could have traded the longs. Might have made a bit more sense. It was very premature. Came down into the inverse gap after sweeping liquidity and SMT. Wasn't really long entries on this though. Macro time, did we have any entries? Okay, so this was genuinely the only long entry, which I sadly missed. Well, not missed, but I got in a bad stop loss, but yeah, it's all good. The main thing I could say, maybe don't enter off of just a reversal leg. Wait for it to be swept and then move away. So if I'd have simply waited, okay, this leg come up, this leg come up, then soup the low, then I mean we'd have to use fractal, but because there's no other confirmations, but could then use, look at inverse from here, long here, stop there. What would the R be on this? Okay, so you get about a 3R-ish. Do we go and take Asian high fully? Okay, so we would have got our 3R. So yeah, so unlucky, but maybe next time going into the market we'll see what setup's already formed. Obviously I should have counted this. We had a SMT and M5 conf that we was going higher. So maybe yeah, next time, because it was an extreme session low, we should use that. I don't know how long I've been recording, but probably like 20 minutes. So we'll skip to the next day now. Skip it till 9. There we go. News, Tuesday. No news. So, do we even want to trade this day and actually take time? Maybe we can try and speed run it a little bit. It's not great. Why is the 4-hour not working? 4-hour has not been working all this whole session. Like, look, what's wrong with the 4-hour? Daily though, we did sweep this low today. Did we reverse off of it? Okay, so it hasn't counted the new candle. What the fuck? Why is there no Tuesday? I think because it's no, but it's not. This is the only problem that I have every now and then. It's just days don't load. But yeah, data points that we have: London high, London's highs, New York comes close to it, and then obviously London low, close to us. I think with SMT this could be more of a buy model. We could be in that low risk buy stage, so I wouldn't mind seeing up, but we'll see. We'll begin to print. Those are the hourly levels that we have. This 5-minute gap will be interesting to see how we close and how we respect it. Other than that, I think let's just play this out until market open. Be interesting to see how we use this gap. Very choppy. Okay, 9:30 opens. Lots of accumulation. All these equal lows are screaming to be taken. So I would not mind seeing like this, something like that maybe. Do displace through it. We have SMT on the bottom. So potentially inversing this gap. Let's just read price. So now we've got a gap. So we are printing bullish order flow and we're back inside the inverse gap. And now we swept the lows, okay. So this inverse is still on the cards. So we come down, inverse this. Now we finally sweep the lows and maybe we want to take London low also. No SMT, so we will just have to be patient. Okay, so we inverse this. Okay, now we take it. Now, what other lows have we got? Got this low here. So we may even print a new gap, so we'll be watching that at 9:30. But so far we're pretty bearish, but could be open to changing. Now this bearish gap is being respected. Now we finally have a Tuesday. That's helpful. Yeah, obviously there's not a lot inside of here. Let's see. Okay, so that's the main zones that we have. We're respecting bearish order flow. Inverse bearish order flow. Not great for an M5 inverse, as yeah, there's no M5 gap now. Okay. So we could still likely see shorts. Still holding this gap. Okay, nice inverse. So I'd probably have to take the M5 CSD. As there is nothing else at 55. Obviously it's no news, nothing to worry about. But ideally we close above, and we do. So now that we've got an M5 in CSD, we can now refine these to just this liquidity. Liquidity come down, inverse. We then hold this bullish gap. We then close back above. We have got this gap here, inside the M5 inverse gap, that we could see be used. So if we come down and get a reaction, could be good. Could also just leave it. At 10 AM we'll have a gap as well. So M5 CSD, M5 gap, I wouldn't mind that, as long as we don't ruin that. Okay, so we do actually have a gap. Bang. So now I would be pretty open to taking a long with all these stacked PD arrays. Okay, so we come in to this gap, also to the M5 CSD. What would the R be if we entered like this? We got all these highs. Could have to go there. I don't mind that. Means that we get in. We can then go back to risking our full risk. It's pretty high confidence. M5 CSD, M5 gap coming into the gap, and then we've got highs above to target. So I don't want to get too zoomed out here. I want to watch how price reacts. Stop below this. This is like the lowest PD rate in this, and we shouldn't really see it come below here. We want to hold all these 3 PD arrays. But yeah, it's 10 now, and we are displacing higher, so that is nice. We get a close above the high, so we'll see if we print a gap. We do. Do we want to hold this gap? It's tiny. Okay, we do. Come back into it, displace, same thing. Do we want to print a gap? We print a gap. Let's put a target here. Okay, so we do print a gap. Do we want to come down? Okay, we print another gap. Come into the gap. Come into the last gap and the order block. See if we want to displace higher. So just a counter of all these PD arrays that we have. M5 inverse gap, M5 CSD, M5 fair value gap, and that is what we're running off right now. Is there any new M5 PD arrays to be aware of? No, so we'll just see price. Is there any SMT to be aware of? There is with 730, hence a retracement. But I think as long as these London highs stay intact, obviously we did take one of the London highs that we was looking at. I think this SMT will just be a retracement. We've got stacked PD arrays down here. Want to close above this high now, printing this gap. Do we want to hold it? Holding this gap, displacing above. 1030 is inbound, and we have taken another target. London high is still on the cards. Do we actually have SMT on the entry? I forgot to check. We do. Yeah, so pretty high confidence trade. SMT, M5 inverse, M5 CSD, M5 gap. I think this target is pretty nice. Could definitely move stops a little bit up. However, I will just keep it on. Don't want to close, so that's it. Just a bit wide. There we go, that's a bit better. Have we printed any M5 gaps? No, so we are just monitoring the M1. Honestly, there we go, that's displacement. That's also displacement. What's ES doing? If ES takes his final high, we'll definitely be inclined to move, but we will be putting our stops higher, reducing the risk. Ideally we want at least to get to this target, holding this gap now. We can also check if we printed any M5. Haven't yet, so we're literally just watching M1. Ideally we hold this gap. Yeah, still not touching it. Respecting this gap, and there is partial 1. So our stop was originally here. So 3R would be there. Ideally we want at least to get 3R for partial in. However, I don't think we need to partial yet. Once ES takes final high, we'll then partial. And there we go. I think we could stretch it. We'll take 25 off just here, and we'll cut our costs. Have we printed any new PDs? We've got an M5 gap now, and we're also in a new macro. So obviously we are break even. This high, part of London high, is a target. This is our 3R level, and we'll just see how we want to run. And there we go, lovely candle. Do we get 3R? There we go, 3R. So because we took 25% off earlier, we'll be taking, no, we'll still take 75. And then our final TP should be met. It's very, very much displacing towards it, but we shall see. So we printed this gap. Let's not forget to mark up our PD arrays that we form to reprice, and we're not just dopamine hitting these clicks. Okay, so we've got a new 5-minute PD array been printed. There we go. So can be mindful of this. I think stop loss could definitely be trailed a little bit higher to this low, or even here. This is the last M5 PD array here, so stop can be there. Ideally we just go to target. Okay, we tap in the 5-minute PD, so see how we print. Decent candle, 11 AM open, still within this PD. Haven't printed any new PD arrays, so literally just waiting for timings. Still not printed a new 5-minute. Go back at that 3R level, and big displacement lower. So I think if we inverse this gap, I'll be happy to get out. 100%. So we could even trail stop now to here. If we inverse this gap, we're out. We'll put it just a little bit below. But this gap inverses, we're gone, because there's no point. And just about, so I'd probably close the rest of this position here. And obviously we do commentate TP, but for me, I'd be scared at this M5 inverse with SMT everywhere. So yeah, but if you wanted to sit through that, you could, but me personally, I would rather not. So full TP does get hit. Another good read on price. We'll just go through buys again. So we come down to this low, we get SMT. I believe it's not a daily low, it's just an hourly low. We come down, SMT on the low. This obviously also does look like a market maker buy model. SMT here, inverse gap created, and print. kind of does, if you can see what I'm trying to say, like this. And then we came in, and now we're redistributing. Probably will go and take these highs. But for us, we play it safe, and this M5 inverse gap was enough for me to get out. No point being in that for longer than you need. Not sure why my stop is there. Oh, it's because, yeah, that's fine. We'll see if we take these highs. Market maker model, bang. We don't need to be on the 1 minute. And there we go. So perfect market maker buy model. Come into this low, bang, SMT. We had our entry was perfect. We had a M5 CSD, M5 gap, M5 inverse gap, and that was our entry. Would we have got any other entries other than that? No. So that was a perfect entry as we came into the CSD. We didn't come into this gap, didn't come into anything. We just used inverse CSD and gap. We wouldn't have got anything lower. So stop was in a great place as this was the end PD. Yeah, really good market maker buy model. But yeah, I will leave it there. I need to go and get a drink, but yeah, not a bad sesh. Good vocalization. I think I've been recording maybe an hour or so. So yeah.